Nation, we have reached a critical moment here in 2013, the middle of the year, the time frame in which we're able to examine that which has happened in the past 6 months and think about that which may occur in the coming months. However, something is happening right now. An album has surfaced right now that's going to be released on the 24th of June, the 25th in the States. One that definitely demands attention, one that definitely demands a review, and one that definitely demands a listen. Some may call them progressive folk metal, but I just call them good old-fashioned progressive metal. Either that or progressive Middle Eastern metal. Orphaned Land, your favorite Middle Eastern sons and daughters, return with their album All Is One. Last time we spoke about these guys, we talked about the Never-Ending Way of a Warrior, which was produced by Steven Wilson, which was mentioned in the Porcupine Tree band review just a short time ago. Well, here we have Orphaned Land returning after a much shorter absence than between Mabul and Or Warrior, and we have an album that seems to be twinged by a lot, and I mean a lot, of personal feeling. Whenever you consider songs such as Brother and Let the Truth Be Known, you definitely feel a sense of family, even if it's being used in a more metaphoric purpose in order for a higher regard of brotherhood or family. This is definitely one that really bleeds emotion. This is an album that really questions a lot of different things. It questions faith, it questions religion, it questions devotion. It really piles on some of the different questions in the form of narrative, in the form of basically freeform thinking, a very philosophical, I guess, reflection. And that's just lyrically. Musically, this album is divine. It's superior. It's something that you can only hear really out of this corner of the country, this corner of the world, because they are the purveyors, they are the originators, and they have just skills, instruments, tones, sounds that for most of us living in the rest of the world, especially here in America, are just absolutely and completely foreign to us. And these are tones and sounds that maybe are representative to something that's completely different to our mind, something very wrong, a very, very incorrect assumption about these individuals, these people, this culture. But the sounds that are made, the sounds that bleed out of these instruments are beautiful. And when coupled with these philosophical reflections, these lamentations, these cries of agony, it really combines to make something truthfully beautiful. Orphaned Land has always been known as a band that has been able to fulfill all of these things. They've also been a band that has been willing to break barriers within their own walls in order to really make a point and really try to advance heavy metal music in their homeland, and have been willing to go to jail for it. So these guys, they really need no introduction whenever it comes to metal itself. They really need no introduction whenever it comes to what they are willing to do in order to get their music heard by people and really to become a band that is revolutionary and one of its kind. They're able to accomplish each and every one of these things on prior records, but on All Is One, they seem to take it to another level. Whereas Mabul or Warrior really focus on storytelling and really focus on a lot of different aspects that make them conceptual. This one, also feeling conceptual though, really has a lot more of a personal tone to it. It definitely feels extremely, extremely close to the heart of the writer, close to the heart of the band themselves, almost as though they are writing some form of personal letter to anybody who's willing to hear it. Almost as though they're trying to explain that which they feel. And in some narratives, it almost seems as though they are conversing with God and attempting to make some sort of sense out of everything that has kind of happened, whether it be within their lives or within the lives of their culture, their people, their history. Their very genesis. Always a very, very unique and diverse group. Orphaned Land once again returned to speaking in their native tongue, as well as also singing in English and things of this regard. On the song Fail, we actually hear this form of free-form sort of thought, this free-form reflection, done and executed very well. It almost reminded me of Daniel from Pain of Salvation and some of his tracks by that band, where it just seems as though he just rambles on, and it makes coherent sense whenever you read it. And, in fact, it seems to have enhanced meaning. There seems to be great power behind those words, but yet they're spoken so quickly, almost as though done in just that, frame of reference, in that, right as you go, you just free-form flow. Sometimes the deepest truths are discovered within those types of exercises. Sometimes some of the most basic ideas, or perhaps lines or words that we've heard in movies, in the media, or just by authors to describe the way in which our world has become. Those are words that rediscover their poignant meaning whenever it is phrased in a different way, whenever it is coupled with various other forms of prose, various other phrases, various other tomes of wisdom, in order to create a higher sense of truth and a higher sense of power to something that may seem quite simple. This album is incredible. I'm going to say that again. This album is, simply put, incredible. The personal reflection, the phenomenal musicianship, the composition, the execution, the flow. I do not want this album to end, and neither will you. A little less than 60 minutes, 11 tracks. On the surface, it doesn't seem like much, considering that which we have come to expect from Orphaned Land from their past two releases. Long albums that have various twists, turns, and bends in the road. Now, this is an album that has that as well, don't get me wrong. There's definitely plenty of emotional twists, plenty of moments where the music may try to draw you to tears, and other moments where the thoughts that are being spoken, the same thoughts that perhaps have occupied your own headspace, they really take on a reality of their own, and it almost feels as though you are standing side by side with these guys, reflecting upon the same issues, feeling the same way. There's a certain sense of brotherhood. And there is brotherhood in music. Brotherhood in music is the power that will truly bring us together and perhaps perpetuate peace. However, in a world that is not domineered by music, but is instead domineered by politics and by all other things that seem to be based on nothing more than the corrupt, freedom, peace, civility, humanity, it seems ages away. A forgotten idea. These questions and more are posed on this album, lyrically. This music captivates insanely. This is one that you want not just to listen to, but to own. That way you can treasure it forever. Buy this record. Who the hell are the Black Dahlia Murder? And who the hell is Dark Throne? I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but there's a new sheriff in town. Look for Orphaned Land near the end of the CKN Top 25 albums of 2013. That is all that needs to be said.